The 2024 draft class was elite, especially for receivers. You had 4 guys go for over 1,000 yards with Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Nabers, McConkey, and tight end Brock Bowers. However, the highest drafted receiver, taken at 4th overall and being seen as a generational prospect, had under 900 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a very underwhelming rookie season. So that begs the question, what is wrong with him? Marvin Harrison Jr. hauled in 62 of his 116 targets for 885 yards and 8 touchdowns while playing in all 17 games. While these stats are not bad compared to rookie receivers in the past 20 years, if you compare it to the rookies in the last 5 years, given how explosive the receivers have been, it ranks fairly low. He had the 19th most yards by a rookie since 2020, 39th since 2000, despite being the highest drafted receiver of the decade. In fairness, his rookie season was pretty decent. It's just hard to say it was good when you compare it to his 2024 draft mates. However, it really wasn't his fault, and honestly, nothing is wrong with Marv. It's his offense. Offensive coordinator Drew Petzing did not allow Maserati Marv to live up to expectations. There was no creativity in this offense for him, meaning there truly was no chance he could put up huge numbers. Nowadays, every receiver lines up everywhere. You put your best elite receiver in position to make plays and scheme around that, whether that's lining him up in the slot, putting him in motion, screens, specific route concepts designed to get them open, whatever. But the Cardinals did not do that. Marvin lined up on the outside, on the line of scrimmage, in isolated coverage on nearly every route that he ran last season. He actually finished 5th in most routes versus isolated coverage in 2024. He was the X receiver in the Arizona offense, which is his best role, but there has to be a variety to get him the ball. He had the 3rd highest average depth of target among receivers with 90 targets at 14.2 yards. He was used as a jump ball deep threat just because of his size. That's not what he was elite at in college. He was an elite separator route runner that needs to run a complex route tree to succeed. Per fantasy points data, he was one of the better receivers in terms of average separation on horizontal routes, while being closer to the bottom in terms of average separation on vertical routes, and almost had the same numbers for each as CeeDee Lamb, despite having to average depth of target nearly 6 yards higher because of his route distribution. To further show the discrepancies between his success in both directions of routes, he had 2.32 yards per run on horizontal breaking and 1.28 on vertically breaking routes. And also per Jacob Gibbs on X, 75% of his targets came on the perimeter, second most of any wide receiver, so mostly these vertical breaking routes, but he only had a 42.4% success rate on those targets. But on over the middle of the field targets, he had the 4th highest success rate at 72.4%. And here's the heat map Gibbs provides on his targets. 25.9 of his targets were on go routes, which was 2nd in the league, and 0 targets on screens. The Cardinals have used Marvin Harrison Jr. in the worst way for him to be effective at the NFL level. Although Marvin Harrison Jr. had a disappointing rookie season, he's still a guy you should look to draft in fantasy, and there's no better place to do it than on Underdog, because Underdog is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. You do have the best ball drafts, but you also have the pick'em entries where you just have to pick between 2 to 8 players, higher or lower on their stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. They have promos every day that are very helpful in helping you win more money. And if you sign up with code Fanatics, not only do you get a deposit match up to $1,000, you get a free pick, which could be Marvin Harrison Jr. to get a yard in week 1, who knows? So make sure to try out Underdog when you sign up with code Fanatics. Another way that Petzing misused Marv, he only had one target off of pre-snap motion. Pre-snap motion nowadays is a blessing for receivers. It gets them moving already as they go into the route, can create mismatches, and just makes the timing of the route match well with their quarterback's pacing. Especially a guy like Kyler Murray, where 48.1% of his dropbacks took less than 2.5 seconds, which was top 5 lowest in the league. This is not enough time to target your generational receiver MHJ downfield at the rate he was running those routes. Someone like Trey McBride would be the natural number 1 target here, as his average depth of target was only 6.5 yards. Kyler only threw to the secondary target 56 times last season, which was 18th amongst all quarterbacks. This offense did not evolve around Marvin Harrison, and did not utilize his biggest skill sets despite some of his efficiency numbers. Put him in motion more, have him run those first read routes more often, and don't just stick him on the outside, which is basically a decoy in this Cardinals offense as the X receiver. He was efficient versus every type of coverage as well. 75th percentile in success rate versus man at 73.1%, 72nd versus zone at 81.1%, and 80th versus press at 76.1% according to Matt Harmon's reception perception. He had a 42.8% win rate versus man and was 18th in overall route win rate. He was efficient in routes and separation, but he did struggle to bring in the catchable passes. He had a 75.6 catch rate on catchable throws, which was dead last, 41st among receivers with 75 of those targets, but I'd assume that's just because of the type of routes he was running. Marv is an elite talent, and that is clear. He can win routes at an amazing level, beat press off the line, but he's best used on crossers and posts. Truly anything that breaks horizontally, as seen on this route versus Jalen Ramsey. He releases inside immediately, which makes it hard for Jalen Ramsey, one of the most physical corners in the game, to get a hand on him, allowing Marvin to already have a step on the inside. He keeps the crosser angling up, giving Ramsey absolutely no shot of recovering on this play, after doing a horrible job at the line of scrimmage and press for a great touchdown catch while falling down with the ball. His clean breaks first press also help him get open so easily against that type of coverage. Another play against Ramsey, they both get into it immediately at the line of scrimmage, with Ramsey locking up with his body the second the ball is snapped. What I assume is that Jalen thought he was going to continue vertical, which is why he was pushing him off of his route, hoping that he wouldn't be able to go vertical and run right into the safety, who was already moving over to his side to help out. But without changing speeds, he cuts outside and the ball is waiting for him on a silver platter, and he makes an amazing diving catch. Harder than it should have been, but he hauls it in. He has great hip fluidity and just is great breaking on his feet, so stuff like this is easy for him. This was also on a crucial third down that brought the Cardinals within 3 points, and they would go on to win the game as well. One thing that I love about Marvin Harrison is his hands against press coverage, like this play where he's actually lined up in the slot against Charvarius Ward. They are both hand fighting immediately as he releases outside, which you have to with a guy of Marv's size. They're pretty much running in line together. Marvin has a quarter step on Ward, but Kyler throws a perfectly placed ball so that he can twist his body out and catch the ball over the DB, which is a great play by both Kyler and Marvin, as they both did their jobs well, because Marvin beats the press and mildly boxed out Ward, given the ball placement by Kyler, which was perfect. He controlled his body well and hauled in the pass. At his size, he's an elite route runner, mentally and physically. Can sell vertical, is great out of his breaks, changes speed well, truly can do everything. He plays like a veteran, making the hard plays you don't expect from a rookie. The Cardinals' offense as a whole never clicked. Whether it was Kyler, Petzing, the O-line, or whoever, they were just overall mediocre. So his 2025 production depends on if the offense as a whole can figure it out, not Marvin specifically. Petzing simply needs to be more creative with them. Throw him in the slot more. He'll have easier matchups, not get double teamed as much. And the slot will work better at targeting his strengths with horizontal breaking routes. Safeties won't be able to help so much when he's in the slot. Put him in motion. Every good offense throws their best receiver in motion. It gets their best target already moving, stresses the defense, and 9 out of 10 times makes it easier for them to get open. As we know, Marvin only had one target off of pre-snap motion last season. That needs to change immediately. The Cardinals were near the bottom of the league in motion percentage. Petzing seriously needs to get more creative. Quarterbacks in the league saw their passer rating jump from 88.7 to 96.0 on passes with pre-snap motion. Marv would see an instant statistical jump with the change in motion rate. But do I think their offense will make the necessary changes to not only help out Marvin Harrison Jr. succeed, but the unit as a whole? No, not really. Drew Petzing is a young offensive coordinator who has a ton of time to figure it out. But based on what we have seen, I don't think they will incorporate these schematic changes. Trey McBride is elite in the slot, having the second most slot yards amongst tight ends, so why take him out of there? And the Cardinals have been near the bottom of the league in motion rate since Petzing became the offense coordinator in 2023. I just don't think it's in the cards for him to change that in one offseason and get one of their best offensive players out of the position that he succeeds so much in. But I do think we need to see Marv in the slot more no matter what, despite what Trey McBride can do there. Because Marvin Harrison Jr. is an elite talent and he will prove to be one of the best wide receivers in the league throughout his career. I just don't know if this offensive system and Kyler Murray mesh well enough with the star receiver to help him reach his ceiling. Hopefully I'm wrong and Marvin Harrison Jr. can have an elite 2025 season.